It's already 11 o'clock, and I think we can start our program. Good morning. On behalf of Mizoram Science, Technology and Innovation Council, I extend a warm welcome to all the participants to the second month of VIGYAN UTSAV as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, organized by Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, and Mizoram Science, Technology and Innovation Council, Directorate of Science and Technology, Government of Mizoram. Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav is an initiative of the Government of India to celebrate and commemorate 75 years of independence of progressive India and the glorious history of its people, culture, and achievements. In order to showcase emerging science, technology, and innovation, STI ecosystem at state and union territories, and its contribution towards Atma Nirbhar Bharat, a year-long program, VIGYAN UTSAV, the Festival of Science, has been initiated by the Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, under the State Science and Technology Program. It has decided to instigate the one-month, one-theme initiative. VIGYAN UTSAV has commenced from September 2021 and will conclude in August 2022. This program will depict the state-level STI ecosystems through the identified themes. As human resource development is an important aspect of science, technology, and innovation-based development process, the theme of VIGYAN UTSAV for this month is human resource development. So to begin our program, I would like to invite Engineer H. Somyana, Chief Scientific Officer and Member Secretary, Mizoram Science, Technology and Innovation Council, to deliver the welcome address. Over to you, sir.
Hello, my name is H. Somyana, Chief Scientific Officer and Member Secretary, Mizoram Science, Technology and Innovation Council, under Directorate of Science and Technology. It is my pleasure, privilege, and honor to welcome you all in this webinar. Mizoram Science, Technology and Innovation Council, MISTIC, Directorate of Science and Technology, Government of Mizoram is actively engaging itself to identify, propose, and implement science and technology-based solutions to local specific needs, problems in the broad areas of water, education, energy, housing, geospatial technologies and infrastructures, etc. in the state. India has started celebrating its 75th year of independence on 15 August 2021, and Honorable Prime Minister has desired to infuse new energy and new consciousness among the citizens by showcasing and celebrating achievement of the last 75 years to Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Now, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India is associating with State Science and Technology Council to showcase emerging science, technology, and innovation, STI ecosystems, and its contribution towards Atma Nirbhar Bharat through a year-long program, VIGYAN UTSAV, the Festival of Science under the State Science and Technology Program, SSTP of the Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. VIGYAN UTSAV has commenced from the month of September 2021 and will conclude in August 2022. In this regard, Mizoram Science, Technology and Innovation Council, MISTIC, Directorate of Science and Technology, Government of India is organizing a webinar to which I am welcoming you all to address the theme, Human Resource Development, on this date, that is 18th October 2021. This month's webinar will primarily concentrate on the role of human capacity for self-reliant India. It has the following objectives: to emphasize the significance of human capacity in providing education, technical or on-the-job training, problem-solving skills, people and management and communication skills, to exposure to new technologies, access to funding agencies, creating demands and providing marketing strategies help to build a strong foundation for youth to achieve desired goal. To convey the role of government in human capacity development and its policies, human development-centric programs and its implications, to influence young minds towards inventions and innovations to fill the gaps between current scenario and future vision. Last but not the least, invited talks by experts, scholars, young achievers, science and technology awardees will focus on opportunities, gaps, challenges, and skill development in the field of science, technology, and innovation. Let me conclude my welcoming speech by quoting Ifani Enoch Onch. Nothing gets transformed in life until your mind is transformed. Good luck to you all once again. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for the welcome address. So moving on to today's program, we have invited speakers to speak on our theme, Human Resource Development. So moving on to our first presentation, I would now like to request Professor Lemsai Tuomo, Department of Education and Director of UGC Human Resource Development Center, Mizoram University, to present a presentation on the topic Role of UGC, HRDC, Mizoram University in Human Resource Development. Over to you, ma'am.
Okay. Engineer Aislal Somliana, Chief Scientific Officer and Member Secretary, Mizoram Science, Technology and Innovation Council, the host of this program, resource persons, the staff of MISTIC and their participants. I take it as a privilege to be a part of the special program organized by MISTIC, Directorate of Science and Technology, Government of Mizoram, and Department of Science and Technology, Government of India today. So I have been invited to speak on the role of UGC, HRDC, Mizoram University in human resource development. So let me give my presentation in this way. I think my presentation is visible to you. Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, let me start my presentation here. Okay, let me make it smaller. I think you can see like this. If it in this screen, I think it's visible.
Yes, it's okay, ma'am.
Okay, so the UGC Human Resource Development Center, Mizoram University, is one of the 66 HRDCs established by the University Grants Commission, Government of India in different cities all over India. Now, UGC HRDCs were initially established as academic staff colleges way back in 1987 by the UGC based on the recommendation of National Policy on Education 1986. The academic staff colleges were renamed as Human Resource Development Centers in the year 2015. Excuse me. Now, why is Human Resource Development Center needed? You know, in the All India Survey on Higher Education web portal, you know, as of now, around 1,043 universities and 42,343 colleges in India are listed in their web portal. And out of around 1.5 million teachers in universities and colleges, more than 1.6 lakh teachers are associate professors, and more than 10.24 lakhs are assistant professors. So as per All India Survey on Higher Education, the latest report, that is 2019 to 2020. All these associate professors and assistant professors are in need to undergo orientation course or refresher course and other courses for their career advancement apart from their need for professional development. So there has also been knowledge explosion in every discipline. So a college or university teacher has to continuously update his or her own knowledge in his or her chosen field of expertise, or run the risk of becoming totally outdated in a very short period of time. Now, while the really motivated and industrious teachers use their own resources to keep themselves abreast of new knowledge and to train themselves in the latest processes, methodologies, and techniques of teaching, it is necessary to provide systematic and organized orientation and refresher programs for the large number of teachers at the college and university level. Okay. Now, apart from teachers, principals, academic administrators in the universities, non-teaching staff, research scholars, etc., working in higher education institutions are also in need of updating their knowledge and skills. Now, role of UGC hrdc Mizoram University. The UGC hrdc Mizoram University caters to the need of professional development of teachers of universities and colleges in Mizoram and other states of the country by offering various types of programs for them. It also works on capacity building of college principals, academic administrators, non-teaching staff, and research scholars of the university. Now, important programs conducted for for these people are mainly like this. Faculty induction or orientation program. Now, faculty induction program is meant for newly appointed teachers for a newly appointed teacher who is required to attend the program within 1 year of his or her appointment prior to his or her regularization or confirmation. And the main purpose of the program is to make a teacher aware about the administrative setup, sensitize him or her to classroom realities, and understand the bond between different stakeholders for realizing the professional aspirations and developing as agents of socio-economic change and national development. Now, for orientation or faculty induction program, newly appointed assistant professors up to 6 years of continuous service, and all those teachers who require orientation for getting higher grades are allowed to participate. And attendance is a condition for confirmation, or is the same course is accounted for promotion to assistant professor stage 2 as prescribed by UGC. We all know that college or university teachers enter the job mainly as assistant professor stage 1. So for the promotion to stage 2, attendance of faculty induction program or orientation program is a must, it's compulsory. And apart from this, attendance of refresher course is also necessary. So the program, the orientation or faculty induction program is of 3 weeks duration. Now, before it was for a longer period, but recently the program, the duration of the program has been reduced to 3 weeks. But with a minimum of 18 working days and 108 continuous 108 hours, that is means 6 hours a day, 6 days a week. So even Saturdays should be working days. Then UTSAV hrdc Mizoram University also conducts refresher courses or refresher programs. And for this, participation in the orientation program is a prerequisite for admission. So to get admission into refresher course or program, one must have attended orientation program or faculty induction program. And the teacher may opt for a refresher course after a 1-year gap following an orientation course. Also, there should be a minimum gap of 1 year between 2 refresher courses, though it may be relaxed if an adequate number of participants is not available, or it is essential for the teacher to fulfill eligibility conditions for career advancement as prescribed by UGC from time to time. Now, the duration of refresher course also has been reduced from 21 days to 2 weeks, that is 14 days, with minimum of 12 working days and 72 contact hours. That means 6 hours a day, 6 days a week, excluding Sundays. And part-time, ad hoc, temporary or contract teachers who have been teaching for at least 3 academic sessions in an institution are allowed to join the program without differentiating them on the basis of type of management to enhance their skills. So a particular theme is selected for its refresher course. Then hrdc also conducts summer school and winter school. Now, a summer school or winter school is something like an additional refresher course. So a particular theme is selected for every summer school or winter school. So these days, interdisciplinary and multidisciplinary themes are given importance in summer school, winter school, and refresher courses. Now, short-term courses are another courses organized. These are the courses conducted for a duration of not less than 5 working days. So there are different themes for short-term courses also. We have different types of short-term courses for different themes. And 2 short-term courses, each for a duration of 5 working days, are considered as equivalent to 1 refresher course or 1 summer school or 1 winter school for the purpose of career advancement. So for example, assistant professor from stage 1 to or stage 2 to 3, stage 3 to 4. So they need career advancement, they need promotion. And that if it is not convenient for them to attend refresher course or summer school or winter school, but if they attend 2 short-term courses, then that 2 short-term courses taken together will be counted as equivalent to refresher course for the purpose of promotion. Then we conduct principals meeting or workshop for academic administrators. The main purpose of conducting the principal meeting or academic administrators workshop as per UGC's guidelines are: number one, to familiarize them with the philosophy and importance of orientation programs and refresher courses and persuade them to depute teachers. Then to enable them to understand their new role as supervisors and facilitate reforms in higher education through appropriate modification of management systems at various levels. In our case, whenever new developments or new policies come up, then we would like to update the principles on these new developments. So, for example, in 2019, when we conducted principals meeting, okay, that was the time when the draft national education policy was released by the MHRD, Government of India. So we wanted to update the principles about the new development that was coming. So in that academic, principals meet, we took one session, the afternoon session, for briefing them about the new education policy. I mean, at that time it was still a draft, but different institutions, even universities, colleges, and many people in the country were requested to give their feedback on the draft national education policy, so that the final national education policy would be in a revised and improved form. Then we also organize workshops on different themes and topics. Then webinars. Actually, we never organized webinars in previous years, but from this year, from the current academic session, that is 2021 to 2022, up to March. Our academic session is April to March. So UGC has required HRDCs to conduct webinars on various themes and on thematic popularization of National Education Policy 2020. So HRDC, Mizoram University, is planning to organize the programs within the academic session. Programs conducted during 2019 to 2020, these are mainly the programs, refresher course, as I've said, refresher courses, summer schools, winter schools, they are conducted using different themes. So in this year, we used tribal studies as a theme of a refresher course. There were 23 participants. Actually, before this pandemic, before online training program was allowed, when we conducted the programs in a face-to-face mode, we could not take more number of participants. And there is also a limit of seats, it's very limited. Then we conducted refresher course in environmental studies and disaster management, then refresher course on research methodology in basic sciences, then refresher course on entrepreneurship development. 2 times we conducted on entrepreneurship development. Then we conducted 3 orientation programs, 27, 28, 29 orientation programs. We conducted principals meet. And we all are aware that towards the end of 2018 and beginning of 2019, there are these COVID-19 cases this program started to this type of program. And because of this and the resulting lockdown, programs earmarked for February to March 2020 could not be conducted. And because of that, the number of programs conducted by us in that year was reduced. Then in 2021 also, we face some problems because of, again, COVID-19 pandemic and resulting lockdown. We could not organize programs in a face-to-face mode. Then UCC allowed HRDCs to conduct the programs in an online mode, and that letter was sent to the vice chancellors of the host universities only in the month of July 2020. So between April to June, we could not conduct any program. And because of that, during that period also, we could not conduct all the programs that were allotted to our center. So refresher course on culture studies, refresher course on life sciences, synthetic biology, then refresher course on engineering and technology, refresher course on cognitive economics, management and information sciences. Then we conducted 30th and 31st orientation programs, 2 orientation programs. Then we conducted short-term courses on research methodology, then short-term course on professional development program for non-teaching staff also. Then we conducted workshop on leadership development program, 1 and 2. We conducted this workshop 2 times. So as I've said, we could not complete the courses allotted to us because of this pandemic. So only after we knew that we were allowed to conduct the courses in an online mode, then we could start our courses. So because of that, we were delayed and we could not finish the programs. Now programs conducted during 2021 to 2022, and as I've said, the program will end, the academic session will end in the month of March next year. So far we have already conducted a faculty induction program or 32nd orientation program. Here, as you can see, the number of participants have increased a lot, because in face-to-face mode, we were allowed to select only 40 participants in a course. But now, when it is on an online mode, whether we select only 40 or many participants or applicants, there is no much difference on our part, but issuing certificates and communication, there are more works. But there are so many people who are in need of attending this program, so we increased the number of selected participants. So we have conducted special summer school. We have conducted research refresher course on foundations of education. Actually, these are mostly multidisciplinary. I don't write multidisciplinary, but for example, foundations of education was multidisciplinary. That because education has sociological foundations, historical foundations, economic foundations, psychological foundations, philosophical foundations, and all. So, teachers belonging to those subjects and disciplines are eligible to attend in multidisciplinary or interdisciplinary courses. So the more participants from different subjects and disciplines can join, and that is also the benefit. Then refresher course in history and archaeology. We have conducted short-term course in gender studies, refresher course in science and technology, short-term course on research and publication ethics, workshop on PhD scholars interaction program, and this is still an ongoing course. And allotted courses to be completed by the end of March 2022. We still have a number of courses to be conducted. Refresher course, environmental studies and disaster management, refresher course on teacher educators, then special winter school, then faculty induction program or 33rd orientation program, faculty induction program or 34th orientation program, short-term course on professional development course for non-teaching staff, short-term course on leadership development program, workshop, that is principal meet, workshop, food processing, workshop, MOOCs, academic administrators workshop, then workshop on skill development and entrepreneurship. And as I've said, this year, UTSAV suggests new things, that is conduct of webinars. So they request hrdcs to organize webinars for thematic popularization of National Education Policy 2020. And apart from that, we are requested to organize webinars on topics like leadership, ethics, climate change, artificial intelligence, machine learning, such and such other topics. Okay, thank you. That's all is my presentation.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for informing us about the different programs conducted and to be conducted in the future by UGC, Human Resource Development Center. Before we go on to our next presentation, I would want to highlight that the presentation can either be in English or in Mizoram. So now I would like to call upon Vaner Shwayasailaw, Principal, Industrial Training Institute, ISOL, to speak on the topic, Human Resource Development, Vocational Skills Training in Mizoram. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. My name is Vaner Shwayasailaw, Principal, Government Industrial Training Institute, ISOL. First of all, I would like to express my sincere thanks to Mizoram Science and Technology and Innovation Center, MISTIC, and Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, and Directorate of Science and Technology, Government of Mizoram, for inviting me to have a presentation in this important occasion. Today, my topic is human resource development, vocational skill training in Mizoram. Of course, we have more relevant skill development initiatives within these human resource development programs, but those are in fact outside my purview as an official from skill development department. So I'd like to concentrate mainly on skill development programs taken up by Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, MSDE, Government of India, and Department of Labor, Employment, Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, Government of Mizoram. I think it is not so irrelevant, and I suppose this is what I'm invited for. Before coming straight to a skill training in Mizoram, I think it is important to, and it's worth pointing out some information on the status of few great nations and the initiatives of Government of India. In China, it is estimated that 24% of the workforce and those who had 24% of total workforce are those who had completed formal skill training prior to engagement in the job. In USA, the figure is 52. In UK, 68. In Germany, 75. Japan, 80%. And in South Korea, 96% of total workforce had prior formal skill training. These figures clearly reflect the effectiveness and importance of skill training for the progress of our nation's economy. In India, as per periodic labor force survey 2018-19, only 2.4% of workforce aged between 15 and 59 had prior formal skill training. Meanwhile, the National Policy for Skill Development and Entrepreneurship 2015 pointed out that 4.69% of workforce had formal training. Coming to Mizoram, in Mizoram, the Mizoram State Policy on Skill Development and Entrepreneurship 2018 pointed out that 4.5% of workforce in the state had prior skill training, which is a bit lower than the national figure. This figure tells that we have a long way to go in skill training for our economic growth. As we all know, skill and knowledge plays very, very important role for all-round development, socio-economic growth. It is the driving force for the nation to grow sustainably and at a faster rate. Government of India had formulated National Skill Development Policy in 2009, which was revised in 2015 and renamed National Policy for Skill Development and Entrepreneurship. A new Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship was set up on 9 November 2015, which is responsible for skilling large number of highly skilled workforce in the country. It also notified National Council for Vocational Education and Training on 5th December 2018 to regulate the functioning of entities engaged in skill development, skill vocational training, both long and short term. Its major function is approval of qualification, alignment of qualification to National Skill Qualification Framework, NSQF. The reason why I highlighted the initiatives of Government of India in skill development and its policy is that all the states in India, including Mizoram, is following and implementing these national schemes in their respective states. Mizoram state government is stressing more and more importance to skill development. It also has its own state policy on skill development and entrepreneurship 2018. The nodal department, labor, employment, skill development, and entrepreneurship, LESDE, takes up these skill development schemes and programs at present. Those are, number one, craftsman training scheme. This scheme is a long-term vocational training scheme. The training duration are Some are 1 year duration, some are 2 years duration. And this is the oldest and largest skill training scheme in the country. This scheme is implemented in various government and private industrial training institutes in the country. Every year, about 20 to 30 lakhs youths are trained in National Council for Vocational Training affiliated trades in various ITIs. It was introduced by Government of India with an objective to ensure flow of workforce to meet industry demand, to raise quantitatively and qualitatively the industrial production by systematic training, and to reduce unemployment among the educated youth. Now, in Mizoram, we have at present 3 ITIs in Aizawl, Lunglei, and Siaha, with a total seating capacity of 692. The courses offered in these ITIs are all NSQF, National Skill Qualification Framework compliant courses. Many youths from rural and urban, male and female, are imparted skill training in various trades and are mainly placed in government departments, private sector enterprises within and outside the state every year after their graduation. It is also known that many of them set up their own units and are self-employed. Besides this, a state government is now setting up 4 more ITIs in Sampai, Serchhip, Kolasip, and Mamit districts. The scheme taken up by another scheme taken up by the department is Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana, PMKVY. This skill development program is a flagship program of Government of India and is being implemented under the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, MSDE, in Central and LSD Department in the state. This scheme has 3 major components. One is short-term training. This short-term training course is with a duration of not more than 6 months. The target beneficiaries are school and college dropouts. The objective of this scheme is to enable a large number of youths to take up industry-relevant skill training for securing their better livelihood. At present, the state has 38 numbers of empaneled training providers in the state, among which 19 numbers have their training centers. These centers are imparting skill training in 12 different skill sectors and 25 job roles. Under PMKVY 2.0 state component, out of the total target of 13,650, 11,487 youths are trained and 5,989 are provided placement. After this, the state is now taking up and continuing to take up PMKVY 3.0 first phase is going on now, in which the state is given a target of 417, out of which 347 youths are enrolled in various job roles as proposed by District Skill Committee. This PMKVY 3.0 is being implemented in coordination with District Skill Committee of various districts in the state. The component number 2 is recognition of prior learning. In this component, the existing skill of an individual, the skill possessed by an individual, is assessed and certified through recognition of their prior learning. It aims to align the competency of unregulated workforce to the NSQF, National Skill Qualification Framework. And the third component is special project. This component is to enable a platform that is facilitating in premises of government body and industries and providing a customized job role not defined in available qualification fact. Under this component, Mizoram is given a target of 120 and now imparting a training in one job role, general duty assistant in one of the state's training center. The third scheme, the third scheme is apprenticeship training scheme. This scheme is also popularly known as on-the-job training. Last Day Department is starting to implement the scheme now. It has also constituted state apprenticeship monitoring cell. As an initiative to take up the scheme, Apprenticeship Mela, first time in Mizoram, was organized on 4th October 2021. In this Mela, 15 numbers of potential employer from private sector enterprises attended the Mela, and many job seekers also attended the Mela, and they met in the Mela and they have successful interaction. It is hoped that remarkable progress in implementing this scheme will be made with increasing number of entrepreneurs and more awareness of this scheme in near future. These are the three schemes. Main scheme taken up by the Nodal Department, the State Department now. Apart from these schemes, Last Day Department is also taking up a skill ecosystem and infrastructure improvement projects like skill acquisition and knowledge awareness for livelihood promotion, SUNCULP, and skill strengthening for industrial value enhancement, STRIVE, and enhancing skill development infrastructure, ESDI, in North States. Among these projects, I want to mention some points about SUNCULP, because SUNCULP is an outcome-oriented program and it has the objective of creating convergence among all skill training activities taken up by various agencies in the state. This is the need of the hour in Mizoram. And improving the quality of skill development programs, developing model curriculum, and standardizing assessment and certification, creating industry-led and demand-driven skill training capacity. In Mizoram, step is being taken to prepare under this Sankalp project, district level and state level skill development and entrepreneurship plan. Now, memorandum of understanding was also signed with Mizoram University Incubation Center on 10 February 2021 to carry out the task of skill gap study and analysis in various districts, which will facilitate in framing the district and state level skill development plan. These are the main activities and initiatives taken by the department in skill development. Besides these schemes, we all know that Mizoram State Rural Livelihood Mission is taking up its flagship program, Deen Dayal Upadhyaya Gramin Kaushal Yojana, DDU-GKY, which aims to impart skill training to rural youths and provide them on their own livelihood. And Deen Dayal Antyodaya Yojana, National Urban Livelihood Mission, DAY-NULM, under the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, taken up by Urban Development and Poverty Alleviation Department in the state. This is focusing on creating opportunities for skill development and lead to market-based employment and help them start their own self-employment venture. Besides this, also, I think we know NILIT, National Institute of Electronics and Information Technology, under Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. But these things, I'm not much aware of the details of these activities. And as my time is running out, it seems I have no time to highlight the activities in detail of these programs in the state. And let this be all I can present this time. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for acquainting us with the different schemes, programs, and projects which are related to skill training. Before moving on to the next presentation, I would like to say that a link will be provided in the chat box. Please click on the link and fill out your particulars, which is required for the certificate, which will be provided for all the participants. Next, we have Professor Linda Zovingyani, Department of Education, Mizoram University. She will present a topic on human resource development at secondary level, a study of the profile of mathematics and science teacher in Mizoram. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Din, for giving me this time. For the comfort of my participants and also myself, I would like to share my screen. I hope it is visible to all of us.
It's visible.
Okay, so first of all, let me convey my heartfelt gratitude to Mystic Mizoram and the Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, for inviting me to this very important event of this Festival of Science. And my topic, which has been chosen for me, is Human Resource Development at the Secondary Level, a profile of mathematics and science teachers in Mizoram. So I have chosen the secondary level of education for studying the profile of mathematics and science teachers in Mizoram. In fact, the study of science teachers is a repetition of a study that had been previously concluded back in 2012 while I was trying to secure my PhD degree. And moving on, I would first like to start off with the profile of mathematics teachers. And before that, it might be important for us to understand why the study of profile is so important. First of all, when we go into changing the policies of states or to find out what is needed in a particular section, a study of the profile of anything is considered to be important, whether we are going to go into a deeper research or whether we will want to put in some more budget, take away something. In that sort of activities, a study of the profile is important because it gives us a true image of the status of the particular subject which we are going to make changes to or propose a change for. So first of all, this study was done not in a secondary mode, and we have collected all of the data that we will be showing to you in a primary mode. That is, we directly approached the teachers because this was done just before the pandemic. And so we were fortunate enough to collect data on a personal basis. That means the research worker, the investigator had the opportunity to visit the schools and teachers in their own localities. And by their localities, we mean urban, rural localities. And also we were particular about the management of the school system. And we found out that there were several kinds of management. We had government managed schools, we had purely private schools, we had church managed schools, and also we had ad hoc schools and ad hoc aided schools and different sorts of schools, including missionary schools as well. So in our data, all of these teachers who are teaching in these different types of managements have been included. So in Mizoram, at the time the study was done, we had a total of 774 teachers teaching mathematics, and no sampling was done at this point. And we were fortunate enough to get the proper data from all the 774 teachers teaching mathematics at the secondary level at this point. And if we look into the gender, let me minimize myself a bit so that I can see my screen properly. So as far as the gender was concerned, 87 and 0.4% of the government school teachers were male, while only 12.96% were female. 90.73% of the private schools were male, while 9.27% were female. I think this clearly shows the profile of mathematics teachers at a glance, and there is a very clear prevalence of male teachers, which could be because of several reasons. It could be because females fear mathematics in general, so they do not want to go into mathematics teaching. It could also be because the males are being preferred to teach mathematics at this level, and so government and both government and private schools have been taking mathematics teachers who are male. So there can be several teachers, there can be several reasons for the prevalence of male, for the dominance of male teachers in mathematics teaching. And this, I think, is worth a deeper study in itself. And the next is the professional profile. By professional profile, we mean the training, the education training that a teacher has received in order to teach. In many countries, especially in the developed countries, and also in most of the developing countries now, teachers are expected to have their education certificates before they go into the world of teaching. In Mizoram, when this study was done, 96.8 government teachers had received proper training, and only 28.99 mathematics teachers had received a training or acquired a professional degree in teaching. And here we put a slash, acquired a professional degree in teaching, because many of the teachers did not have what is considered as a proper degree, but a diploma rather, which is called DLEd for short, rather than the full BEd. And there were a few teachers who also had MEd. I will explain about the difference between these three professional trainings in the coming slides. So this was the professional profile. 96 government mathematics teachers had received proper training, and 28.99% of the private secondary schools only had proper training. So the reason could be that in private schools, they cannot afford to be selective. So if a teacher is available, they can only take him on to teach mathematics, because in Mizoram, there is a very, very strong dearth of mathematics teachers. So that is one revelation. And the other is that the importance of the profile study comes here again, in the sense that when we say 96.8% of government teachers had received proper training, we are keeping in mind the rest, around 4% of the teachers who have not had received proper professional training. So in order to see that 100% of the government mathematics teachers receive a proper training, the government will take the necessary steps to give them proper training. For this, a multi-mode training is available at IASE, Mizoram, under Mizoram University in Aizawl City. And this institute provides a high-level multi-mode training for the teachers who are already in job but have not had received professional training. The reason that there still exists teachers who do not have proper professional training is because the recruitment system has been made a bit more strong since the last 5 years only. So coming to the academic profile, the government schools had 0.31 mathematics teachers with a diploma in education, with just a diploma in education, while private schools had none, and 0.6 government schools had, and 2.32 private schools had PUC degree only. I think all of us are aware that they are not qualified to teach at the secondary level, a person only with a pre-university degree. Then 14.75% of the government schools and 10.15% of the private school teachers had BA degree. So there are still many of us without the required degree still teaching in secondary schools. Then 62.95 government schools and 48.99 private school teachers, mathematics teachers, had BSc degree. And 6.02% government schools and 9.28% private school mathematics teachers had BCom degree. This is very much understandable and also acceptable, I think, if I am not mistaken. 3.31 government schools and 2.32 private school mathematics teachers had BE degree, another acceptable degree. But I think BE is bachelor's in engineering. So there is also the question that if these people have the opportunity to teach elsewhere, will they go? Will they be permanent in their present position? And if they are not permanent in their present position, supposing they go and work well elsewhere, will there be enough human resources to fill in the gaps left by them? Then another 0.6% government schools and 1.74% private school mathematics teachers had BTech degree. Then 0.87% of private school mathematics teachers had BEE degree, but government schools had none. Government schools had 0.31% mathematics teachers having BVSC degree, while private schools had none. This came as a surprise to me because the same situation was found in the case of science teachers also. We all know that BVSC degree is a bachelor in veterinary science. So such a kind of person with that kind of academic background is teaching mathematics in Mizoram at the present. 5.12 government schools and 21.15 private school mathematics teachers and had teachers having MSc degree. This is a state of overqualification, and there is also the question that if such a teacher is too overqualified to teach in the present position he is teaching at the moment, will he again be permanent? So there is a question of whether he will be permanent or whether he will be looking for better opportunities. And if he does so, will there be enough human resources to fill in the gaps left by the 5.12% of teachers? And government schools had 5.12 mathematics teachers with MA degree, while private schools had none teaching mathematics. And at this point, I would like to again say that although a master's degree is considered to be the highest acceptable degree, there is also the question of disciplines. Is a person with a master's degree in an arts subject really eligible to teach mathematics at the secondary level? These are questions which I hope the participants, the audience, will be asking themselves. And 0.6% government schools and 2.89% private school mathematics teachers had MCom degree, Masters in Commerce. And 0.31 government schools and 0.29 private school mathematics teachers had BArch degree. So this is bachelor's in architecture, meaning that one each in government schools and one person, I'm talking about the actual number, 1% in the government, not 1%, I'm sorry, 1% in the government schools and also 1% in private schools were found to teach mathematics having a bachelor in architecture degree. And then coming to that is basically about the profile of science mathematics teachers. Again, as you have already seen for a while, I will be talking about science teachers. But before I talk about science teachers, I would like to again, although I have not added it in the slide, I would like to again add that we had also calculated the experience of each teacher. And therein we found that almost 20% of the teachers had less than 10 years of service. So if they have less than 10 years of service, that means Mizoram needs to have enough human resources who will be filling in the gaps left by them. And for that, it is very, very important to have a very, very strong undergraduate or postgraduate education system that will need to cater to science education as well as mathematics education, so that enough human resources will be available at the time when the need arises. This is very important, especially taking into consideration that out of the 8 districts we have in Mizoram at the moment, only about 3 of them provide real real undergraduate certificates. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Pachunga University College and Zirtiri Women's Science College, Zirtiri Science College, and Lunglei Government College, Serchip Government College, and I don't know whether it's still running, but the last time I checked, Champhai also has undergraduate level of science education, but I don't know whether it is in running condition or not. So if those are the only colleges we have that are teaching science education and maths education, giving out students with the much needed mathematics and science certificates, Mizoram is not in very good hands when it comes to mathematics and science education. The least we need is, I'm talking about the least we need is at least one college in each of the districts that will be able to give science education of not just the so-called soft sciences that we talk about, that is the life sciences. I don't mean it in a derogatory way. I'm talking about the need of putting in both life as well as physical sciences in each of these degree granting colleges. So coming on to the profile of science teachers, there is a total of 812 science teachers, and my sample size was 259. When we had begun to do a profile on science teachers, the pandemic happened and we could not continue because we were restricted in movement. We could not continue in the distribution of the information profile which we had prepared for the science teachers, and inadvertently, and the mistake was majorly mine, 7% of the teachers who had responded through the Google form happens to be teaching in middle schools. And since all their responses were, summarized together, and it was quite impossible for me to filter out the 7% of those teaching in middle schools, I had to incorporate them along with the findings on the a profile of science teachers. I hope it will not be too disturbing. And 7% out of 812, I think that is not a very, very high number, but I apologize that the number, that the percentages I will be coming out with this will be diluted a bit with 7% of them teaching in middle schools. So I will immediately go into the compile. This is something which I thought to add. I will talk about this later on, but first of all, let me talk about gender. It was found that 65% of those teaching mathematics were those teaching science were male, and 34%, around 35% were female. Here, at least the ratio has got a bit more tight, and it is not as big as the ratio that was found among the mathematics teachers. But still, we find there is a very strong dominance of male teachers, even in the study of even in the education, even in the teaching of science. And then again, in training, as I had said earlier, I said that there are 3 types of training which I would try to explain to you in the coming slides. And now this is the time. There are 3 types of professional training recognized by the Government of India. These are B.Ed, D.El.Ed, and M.Ed. B.Ed is mainly meant for teachers teaching at the secondary level, and by secondary level we recognize 2 levels. We recognize lower secondary as well as higher secondary. By lower secondary we mean class 9 and class 10, and by higher secondary we obviously mean class 11 and class 12. And then D.El.Ed is meant for those teaching below secondary. That means from primary up to middle, and in other words we also call that the elementary stage of education. So this is not a proper degree, it is a diploma. And then we come to M.Ed. M.Ed means Masters in Education. It is not Master of Arts in Education and should not be confused with that. So M.Ed is a person who has a Master's in Education, which means that the person is eligible to teach either in a college and teach teacher trainees, and also in a university. So it was found that 32.2% of the science teachers were trained, and out of the 32.2% which had received training, it was found that out of the 812 teachers, 28.95% of them had B.Ed. And again, it was found that most of these people who have B.Ed degrees are from government schools. And again, coming to D.El.Ed, 3.4% of them were found to have D.El.Ed training, which is not the minimum requirement for science teaching at the secondary level. So these 3.47% of teachers are undertrained if we are going to concentrate on secondary education. Then coming to M.Ed, 0.77% of the teachers which had become one of the samples had training in M.Ed level, at the master's level. So it means they are again overqualified. So if they are qualified, there is also, as I had said earlier, there is also that imminent desire for change. There is also I'm talking about the teachers. If a teacher wants to go for a higher training, which is not needed at his level of teaching, that means a change is he is expecting for better opportunities. And if he or she finds the better opportunities that he is looking for, will there be enough human resources to fill in the gaps left by him? That is of major concern to us, right? So looking at the academic profile again, 38.22% of the teachers teaching science were found to have BSc degree, and 29.7% of them were found to have a BA degree. Like in the among the persons teaching mathematics, here again, there were those who were not qualified to teach science, but they are still teaching science, and maybe the reason could be attributed to the lack of very strong recruitment rules during the time these teachers were recruited. Then again, as I said earlier, one person having a BVSc degree was found to be teaching science at the time the study was done, and two persons, 0.77% of the sample and the study had BCom degrees, and 3.86% of them had Master of Arts. And as I said, although it is very, very dignified that they could complete their masters, at the same time, we are interested in the teaching of science, and it is not a proper qualification. The fact that they have a master's is much appreciated at this level, but at the same time, what we should be more interested in is the fact that persons who do not have proper degrees are still teaching science in Mizoram. And here again, let me reiterate that we have taken samples from different kinds of managements: government, private, mission schools, ad hoc schools, and ad hoc aided schools. All the different varieties of management that we find in Mizoram, we have taken samples from them where it was possible. As I said earlier, it was not even possible to, go to all the teachers as we had done for mathematics, because the pandemic happened and we could not move about as freely as we could earlier. And 1.15% of the teachers had masters in commerce, and 2.7% of them had studied up to PUC degree. Herein, I take it for granted that these 2.7% are the ones who had, mistakenly opted to respond to my Google form. Then we had one person with a PhD and another person with an MPhil degree teaching science at secondary level of school education. And we also had BSc horticulture, one person with BSc in horticulture teaching science at the high school level. And also we had 2%, that means two persons with bachelor in engineering, and one person with bachelor's in computer applications teaching in teaching mathematics. And I would like to go back to the slide that I had mistakenly shown. Here, compatibility with computers and ICT was considered to be important at this point of time, because as the NEP 2020 has come up, more and more stress is being given to ICT, and the Prime Minister of India himself stated very strongly that education and ICT are going to be very, very close partners, and there is going to be a continuous flow between ICT and education. Keeping that in mind, a study was done as to whether the teachers themselves were comfortable with the teaching of mathematics and science using ICT and computers. Regarding mathematics teachers, it was found that 54% of them had their own computers at the time this study was done. Then 50.8% of them had received ICT training. Here again, the importance of a profile study comes into fore, because the leftover 50.2% still have not received ICT training. So it becomes imperative for the government to provide ICT training for the leftover 50.8% of the teachers who had not received 50.2% of the teachers who had not received ICT training. And sorry, it should be 49.2, then who had not received ICT training. Then again, 0.3% did not have smartphones. Among the teachers teaching mathematics, 0.3% of them did not have smartphones. And I think I think we can, think ahead about a person who does not have a smartphone, whether he will be able to teach using ICT or not. So at the moment, we have this massive lockdown wherein it has not been possible to have offline study at all, other than few villages where the COVID pandemic has not yet reached. So this means that education is very much paralyzed, where these teachers who cannot teach in the online mode using ICT are working. And among the science teachers, compatibility with computers and ICT was also asked, and 22.9% of the teachers did not really know how to use the computer. They were aware of the computer, they had computers in their offices, they had computers in their schools, and also the internet connectivity in schools was mostly good, because nearly 70% of the schools responded that they had internet connectivity in the schools. Of course, they did not specify whether this internet connectivity was provided by the school itself, or whether they were talking about whether they had connectivity in the school premises. But it was obvious that nearly 70% of the schools, including urban and rural schools, had internet connectivity. There was a possibility of being connected with the internet. But in spite of that, 22.9% of the teachers did not really know how to use the computer. And with the expectation of teachers to use ICT in teaching. And when we talk about ICT in teaching, we are particularly concerned with whether the teacher can make some e-content, simple PowerPoints, short videos, short slips or clips or slides, or maybe interact with the teacher, by the students, by making use of Teachmint application. We have Google, we have Zoom, like the one we are using now. These are the kinds of expectations we have of the teachers when we talk about ICT and teaching. But 22.9% of them still do not really know how to use the computer, which is really sad. Then 43% of the teachers revealed that they had a problem using ICT. So many of the teachers who could use the computer also could not use it for anything other than recreative poses. They could, play games with the computer, that sort of thing, but they really did not know how to make use of it to teach. So those are the sort of findings that we had. I have taken 3 minutes beyond my time. I apologize for that. And I thank the organizers again for giving me this opportunity to share my findings with you. Thank you all so much. I will stop my slide at this point.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing us your research work, and it was very informative. Thank you again. And moving on to our next presentation, we have Ukela Ramwana, Principal Scientific Officer, Science and Technology, Mizoram, to present on the topic Human Resource Development in Science and Technology in Mizoram. Over to you, sir.
Good afternoon to you all. It was a very nice presentation we have just listened. It is an honor to be with you already. I'm here still given an opportunity to deliver a short presentation now. And my topic will be human resource development in science and technology in Mizoram. It will be just an overview. So this is the location map of Mizoram. So from I have seen my colleagues from Uttarakhand, UCOS, and Manipur Mastic Science Council also. So if you come to Mizoram, how far it is from your state, you can imagine from this map. It is part of Northeast India, sandwiched by Myanmar and Bangladesh in the east and the west, respectively. So, and this is the, just for information regarding the geographical area, 21,087 square kilometers, out of which 90% is covered by forests. Rather, I should say vegetations to be better. Different types of vegetations. Some are scrublands, like that. And the population of Mizoram is, according to 2011 census, it was 10,97,206, and literacy rate is 91.3%. And I'm moving to, please wait a bit. Big screen. Okay. This electron. Okay. I'll come for higher institution in Mizoram offering science and technology subject. Here we have one MZU, one university since 2001, giving 19 subjects. I will not read out all the subjects, and other colleges giving science subjects. We have Pachunga University College, residential government Zirtiri Residential Science College, Lunglei, Serchip, Champai, and Kolosip colleges. Those are the colleges, and among these, Pachunga University College was formed in 1958. This is the oldest among the colleges in Mizoram. And besides the above, IGNU is also offering some science-related subjects. And the intake capacity of students by these colleges are mostly around 20 to 30 students per year per subject. And higher institution in Mizoram offering science and technology subjects. Other institutions are named Central Agriculture University, College of Veterinary Science and Animal Husbandry in Salesi. This is the outskirts of Aizawl city. It was established in 1997. It has 17 disciplines in BVSC and MVSC, PhD in 9 disciplines, I should rather say. And Central Agriculture University College of Horticulture has been established in 2016, recently giving BSc honors subject in horticulture. And ICA, we have also ICA Research Complex for Northeastern Hill Region, Kolosip. This is located in Kolosip district. Here, working on promoting and conducting research, extension, and human resource development activities in agriculture and allied sectors for hilly regions have been carried out. We have newly NIT Mizoram in 2010. We have already now 9 departments in science subjects. And since 1991 and 98, Mizoram Polytechnic at Lunglei and Women Polytechnic at Aizawl, also there giving 4 numbers of diploma level. And coming to KVK. KVK is very, very important. Farm Science Center. This is utilized, very much utilized in the States. So we have 8 KVKs here in Mizoram, covering almost all the states, districts. Only the 3 districts have left behind without KVK. And coming to science and technology-based NGOs, these NGOs are very, very important for human resource development in one way or the other. Those notable NGOs in the state are Mizoram Science Society, and the type of members are also you can see from my table. Government officials are included in this Mizoram Science Society also. Teachers, faculty, retired person even are included. The next one is Science Teacher Association of Mizoram, STEM, mostly science teachers. Mizo Academy of Sciences, MAS, Mizoram Mathematics Society, MMS. And the next one is Biodiversity and Nature Conservation Network, BIOCON. Those are postgraduate, doctorate in science subjects, conservation enthusiasts. The next one is Geological Survey of Mizoram, Geological Society of Mizoram, GSM we call it. Those are the postgraduate in geology and those teaching in geology subjects. And the next one is Association for Environment Preservation, ASEP, environmentalists and other enthusiasts. Center for Environment Protection, CEP, Green Mizoram Network, GMN. So these are the science and environment-based NGOs we have. And the next one is we have science and technology establishment in the state. This consists of Directorate of Science and Technology. This was established in 1985 as a science and technology wing under the Department of Planning and Program Implementation Department. Now, in this department, we have scientific technical manpower 9 people and non-scientific manpower 14. The next one is Mizoram Science, Technology and Innovation Council, MISTIC. We call it MISTIC shortly. It was established in the same year, 1985. 23 and 8 scientific manpower and non-scientific manpower respectively. The next one is Mizoram Remote Sensing Application Center. It was established in 1988. 16 and 13 scientific and non-scientific manpower are there now. So Mizoram Science Center is the youngest among these 4 establishments. It was established in 2003, having 14 and 11 scientific and non-scientific manpower. You can see from my table in the year 1985 when it was started, only 2 manpower was working in this department. Now the number has risen to 108. And till 2010, scholarship for meritorious students in science was given to college students, those pursuing careers in science. But this was taken over by Mizoram Scholarship Board under Education Department. And here we have human resource development activities recently undertaken by science and technology in Mizoram, especially in Aizawl. Number 1 is enhancement of livelihood option for rural women in Aizawl. As you can see from my slide, those ladies are working how to make food processing, training and demonstration on piggery, pig rearing, poultry farming and food processing has been undertaken by rural women. So far, 50 rural women of first batch have completed their training. And the next one is very important for the upliftment of rural life. Center for Mushroom Production at Saitwal, Mizoram. This mushroom production is established at Saitwal. This is the new capital of newly created district in the eastern part of Mizoram. It aims at providing livelihood opportunities for rural masses through mushroom production. Intensive training for selected beneficiaries was conducted in collaboration with Pachunga University College. And this is going on now. The center is now in full operation at Saitwal village, town, I should say. And human resource development activities recently, and the next one is patent information system, patent information center. So sorry. The Patent Information Center was established in the year 2011 and has been playing an active role in the state in promoting the importance of intellectual property rights since its inception. And the center has published a booklet of intellectual property rights in vernacular language, providing technical assistance to its client in filing various IPRs, such as patent searches, trademark searches, and know-how in online filing of copyrights. And this PIC involved in around 49 awareness program and IPR lectures in the state among the grassroots innovators, researchers, students of various colleges and university in the state, sensitizing more than 3,000 people in the field of IPR already. Now the PIC also assists its clients in overcoming the discrepancies in their IPR application also. So anyone interested in patent information, patenting, you can come to Directorate of Science and Technology also here in Aizawl. And the next one, the last one is Mizoram State Climate Change Cell. The Mizoram State Climate Change Cell has been conducting workshop and training program for various government officials at different levels for preparation of DPR in climate-related issues. It also organized various awareness programs on climate change for NGOs, communities, students, etc. The State Climate Change Cell has conducted 8 training programs so far and has built the capacity of around 511 government officials. Training on climate reporting for media persons are also being conducted. So training media person is taken seriously to prevent the wrong information to public, as the climate change issue is a new issue for the general people. So besides this, it also conducts sensitizing program for legislatures on climate related issues. And coming to some schemes under Science and Technology Mizoram, the following schemes are available at Directorate of Science and Technology with the assistance of the state government. Detail can be downloaded from Directorate of Science, Directorate's website, that is dst.gov.in. You can come for that. And those schemes are scheme for grant of financial assistance for publication of scientific journal. This has been utilized by STEM, MAS, MSS, and all. Very important scheme for science growing, popularization, and all. And the next one is scheme for grant of financial assistance for organizing scientific programs. You can come forward for this also. Scheme for grant of financial assistance for scientific research and technological innovation project. Also we have here in Aizawl, Science and Technology Department. The last one is financial assistance under Science and Technology International Travel Support Scheme. Those who have good papers to deliver internationally can claim for this financial assistance in this department. Next to various science popularization program are organized every year. Nationwide program we followed. Those are National Technology Day Observation, National Mathematics Day Observation with sub-events like state level mathematics competition, mathematics summer camp, etc. have been already conducted. And National Science Day Observation with sub-events like seminars, workshops, essay competition, science demonstration program, scientific and local grassroots innovation exhibition also done, and exposure tours have been already conducted. Connect of Northeast with VIGYAN Prasar was organized with the students in 2017 and 2018. And we have participation in India International Science Festival, participation in Indian Science Congress, and organizing Mizoram Science Congress 2016, 18, 20. Third consecutive alternate years we have done this. Okay, with that, I'll end my speech, my presentation, and thank you for giving me opportunity to my colleagues in MISTIC, Mizoram Science, Technology, and Innovation Council. Thank you, and say goodbye to you all. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for highlighting the various human resource development activities undertaken by Mizoram Science and Technology. With that, we have come to the end of our program, and I would like to take this opportunity to thank Dr. Deepapriya Datta, Scientist G and Advisor, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, Dr. Rashmi Sharma, Scientist F, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India. Thank you, sir, madam, for your leadership and inspiration. I would also like to thank Engineer Ashla Somliana, Chief Scientific Officer and Member Secretary, Mizoram Science, Technology and Innovation Council for your guidance. I thank our invited speakers for accepting our invitation and making time in your busy schedule to attend this program. To all other organizers from DST, Government of India, and Mizoram Science, Technology and Innovation Council, all the Science and Technology Councils from all over India, and all the participants of this session, I thank you for making this program a success. And also, kindly fill out your details in the link provided to receive the e-certificate. I would also like to invite all of you to attend future VIGYAN UTSAV, which will be conducted every month till the month of August 2020. With that, I bid you farewell, stay safe, and have a great day. Thank you.